It's today on the 19th, 2022 of December. Really quickly, we were just talking about enuf, Iditarod, and sort of the corruption issues, entrenched staff members like Mark Nordman, the race marshal, who's been there for, decades and decades. And, it really occurred to me, they're not allowing NAF to run allegedly because of a dog care thing. And, I couldn't help but think, what about them? Maybe someone should pull them out of the race because last year they had two different dogs that they're volunteers that they selected, and obviously there's some issues with the selection of the volunteers. The veterinarian in Ruby, or whoever let that dog go in Ruby, who was gone for months. That's a really big red flag and a really big concern for the Mushers. They shouldn't have faith in this race organization and in the volunteers. And then, of course, the race organization actually tried to put it on the Musher, Sebastian, instead of taking responsibility for the fact that that dog was in their care. And if there was an issue with the collar, they could have had another collar, or they could have demanded, they could have come up with some sort of a solution there. I mean, didn't they have a spare collar somewhere? You know what I mean? But then there was another dog that was actually gone missing in Anchorage, during the ceremonial start as well. So there was two different dogs that the trail committee dropped the ball on last year in 2021. So when we're talking about the trail committee trying to, single out a musher like Neff, or just, make any sort of allegations because of his dog care, I think that the mushers should unionize, the Iditarod mushers should unionize, and they should look, at the future of the sport and look at these entrenched staff members and look at the rhetoric that they're using. They also went after Dallas CV just a few years ago, for alleged drug use. And, maybe Hugh Neff has got something with his ex-Gail, his ex-wife. Maybe Dallas had some friction with his ex-wife as well. And those are personal issues, and yet maybe that snowballed in. But at the end of the day, we know the truth of these situations. And, if that trail committee has had two different dogs, that were in their care, they were entrusted to them by the Mushers, last year, and they were just released and were gone missing, and one of them for months. You know what I mean? That's a huge liability, a huge trust issue, for those Mushers to, even want to do any sort of a business, in terms of the dog care of the Iditarod Trail Committee and Mark Norman's dog care and his selection of volunteers and Stu Nelson. It's below par. It's not good enough, and they need to be challenged on that.